Hello everybody, welcome to Goshen Prepping. Getting my prepping stuff done today like I do every single day. And as I was going through, today's job is rotating stock and making sure I have like the older stuff up front first. I started going through some of my different types of dehydrated or freeze-dried powdered stuff. You can get like freeze-dried strawberries, which are like the best in the world, and all kinds of different type of things like that. But if you get powdered stuff, you can use them for all kinds of things. Powdered recipes, powdered foods, powdered drinks. And so I thought, this would be a great video. Go through some of the different types of powdered stuff that I have in my prepper pantry, my stockpile pantry, and see if that basically works with what you have. Because, of course, I always learn from you, too. If you have something different compared to what I have, let me know. So we're going to go through a whole bunch of different types of freeze-dried or powdered things and see how advantageous they are. The first thing I have is some powdered milk. Powdered milk is awesome, by the way. I know in the military we use those little UHT cartons, ultra high temperature ones. We'd have them well past their expiration date. I know those don't last forever, but powdered milk does. Powdered milk is fantastic. And this one's from Augustin Farms specifically. I like shopping for Augustin Farms. The reason being is if you really know the prices and watch it, they have sales. And it's not one of those ones where it's like always on sale. There's those too. But you can find this sometimes actually really inexpensive. So we usually, buy a few of them, every few months whenever they go on sale, and just continue to up our pantry. Also, we get our milk from American Reserves as well. American Reserves, one of our sponsors, also has milk. And I don't have any of that with me here specifically, but that's something you want to check out too. And when I can, I'll link this stuff below. You may not find it on sale right now below, but that's one thing you can do. But speaking of milk, another option you can have, this comes from good old-fashioned Walmart, is some coffee creamer. This is great, by the way. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, if you last-ditch effort, put it with some water and actually make some kind of like weird, dry, powdery, creamy milk concoction. If that's all you have, that's fine. But I don't know about you. When I drink my tea, I like cream in my tea. And I know for you, like traditional tea people, you want to kill me right now. Easy. Okay, I like a little bit of cream in my tea. Earl Grey with a little bit of like cream. That's some good stuff. So if you don't have access to a cow with fresh milk, especially during the apocalypse, at least you have this. You might want to consider picking some of these up too. And they're actually relatively inexpensive, so having some milk substitute. Also, when it comes to milk and everything, I also have, and this is obviously not just milk specifically, but we have right here some whey protein isolate. Whey protein isolate. Now, I like to use the Muscle Feast, and they have all kinds of incredible flavors. This one is a flavor, cappuccino flavor. They have chocolate. One of my favorites, they have cheesecake. I think it's strawberry cheesecake. Really good stuff. But here's the thing. It's protein. It has no artificial sweeteners in it. That is, for me, that's like huge, huge, huge. And being a whey protein isolate, it actually comes from milk as far as the proteins go. This stuff's incredible. It is pricey. It really is. But we're talking about if you could like never eat regular food again and you want to be in really good shape, maybe you actually do some working out, this is it. So, people like to get things like meal substitutes like, Ensure, etc. I've never had one of those in my life, but these are my like Ensures. I take these, sometimes I'll add some things to it like in a blender and mix it up and have some type of concoction. But when I have really heavy workout, I try to drink some of this too. But having some whey protein isolate is a really good powder to have. I really recommend that because, again, if you basically said, you know what, I need to eliminate everything from my stockpile and only carry one thing, I don't know why you would do that. But if you did, this would be it. This is some fantastic stuff. So with that in mind, also some powdered eggs. I want to bring that up because talk about perfect foods. And this one is American Reserves survival food. This has 144 servings of powdered eggs. Now, steak and eggs, by the way, is the perfect food on the planet. Eggs are incredible. They have every single thing they need into one nice little shell. But you know what? Storing eggs, long-term anyway, doesn't work well. We freeze our eggs. We basically mix them up and put them in the freezer. Afterwards, they're good for like scrambling, not really much else, or maybe baking. Water glass eggs works great, but we're only talking about 18 months-ish, maybe a little bit more as far as storing. This will store indefinitely, forever. So when we actually see powdered eggs, it's certainly the way to go. And same thing, I like getting mine from American Reserves, but I shop around and I have some Augustin Farms scrambled eggs. I think I have from the day some Thrive Life scrambled eggs. I used to do Thrive Life a long, long time ago. But having the eggs, is one of the best things as far as like diet goes, can do really well for you. So make sure you pick up lots of freeze-dried or powdered eggs. Also, soup bases. Now, another company we use is Azure Standard. And right here we have Azure Market. This is chicken flavored broth. I know, don't yell at me for this. Chicken flavored. I'm all about chicken broth, and I think they have that too, but we have like a wide variety. We buy all kinds of different things. But Azure Standard is fantastic for getting a lot of the different types of powder stuff. I mean, especially like we love their seasonings. I know that's not powdered stuff per se. I guess they do have like powdered chili powder and stuff like that. Their selection's incredible, and they have a lot of organic stuff. And if you don't know Azure Standard, real quick, the way it works is they're based out of Oregon. They use a lot of like organic, natural, really good farmers. And then instead of shipping it to you, which costs a lot of money, by the way. Doesn't matter if you ship it through UPS or the Post Department or whatever, it costs a lot of money. So what they do is they actually have their own trucks that drive to what are called drop locations around the country, and you more than likely have one relatively close to you. We drive over an hour for one close to us here, and it's well worth the drive. So we'll go through every few months and get a big load of all kinds of stuff. Again, we do a lot of powdered stuff from them, but they have everything, especially when they're talking about like 50-pound bags of beans and oats and stuff. That's where you really save the money, by the way, because let's say you go ahead and just go to Walmart or Amazon or something, you want to buy a 50-pound bag of something, you'll buy the bag of something, then you usually have to pay a lot for shipping, not with Azure Standard. You still have to pay for shipping, but what you do is it combines the shipping with everybody else who has stuff on that truck, and it is literally, and I really mean a fraction of the price. It's really small in comparison. Anyway, long story short, we get our soup mixes from there and spices from there. And so having soup bases is good. It's not just for making soup, although I'm a soup guy. How many people are you soup people out there? I love soups, especially during the fall and winter. And having the bases for that and for baking things works really well. All right. Next up is freeze-dried cheese, which, I don't know, maybe that's why I'm organizing today. There's a couple things I couldn't find. Freeze-dried cheese. I'll be honest with you. I like to be transparent. I've never opened one of my cans of freeze-dried cheese and never tried it. I've had some people say they don't like it. I've had some people say they do, so I stock up on it, and then someday when I'm cheeseless, I could pop one open. But we also have freeze-dried butter, and this is a little dusty here. This is an old-school Thrive Life can of freeze-dried butter powder. Okay, some really good stuff right here. Try that fan turning on for my power for my computer. But anyways, freeze-dried butter is good stuff. I mean, it really is having all the butter. Butter in itself was kind of like invented per se. When they first started doing it, it's because milk fresh from the cow doesn't last long. And what they would do is immediately turn some into butter, which does last a long time. And then what they used to do back in the day was they'd actually put it into like usually some kind of like some animal things like intestines and stuff, or skin, some kind of like a truly animal sack. That's the best way I can describe it. And then they would put it on like a rope and drop it down into a well, a hand-dug well, and we keep it cool. But today we don't have to. We have butter powder, which works really well. We have freeze-dried fruits and veggies. I'm going to go ahead and just use that as an overall term. Lots of different ones of those. And I'm not talking about like buying freeze-dried fruits, like freeze-dried pineapple. Oh, that's the good stuff. Freeze-dried peas or carrots. Those are all good. I'm talking about the powdered stuff. You can actually get freeze-dried powder. Like, for example, here's a newer Thrive Life can. This is Thrive Life tomato paste. Thrive Life tomato paste. And I also have, I think this is some more tomato stuff. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is Thrive Success classic tomato sauce. I have these. These are from, couldn't even tell you when I got these a long time ago. Now we have our own freeze dryer. And one of my favorite things to do, because tomato paste is where it's at, is you can buy the little small cans of tomato paste. We always have a bunch of those from Aldi. Or sometimes we'll go to like Gordon Foods. You ever go to Gordon's? Do you have Gordon's in your area? It's like supposed to be for restaurants, although I find it's kind of like pricey sometimes. We'll buy like their huge number 10 can of tomato paste and just freeze dry it in our own freeze dryer. So I still have this stuff. I'm not going to say, well, I got a freeze dryer. Out you go. I'll still keep this around. And that's why I'm organizing it today, because we got a lot of this stuff. But having freeze-dried tomato paste and all that stuff works well too. All right, something else I could not find is freeze-dried peanut butter. Freeze-dried peanut butter is great, by the way. Peanut butter itself has the fats in it. It has a shelf life. I don't know. You might be able to get 4 or 5 years out of it, maybe. They'll start turning rancid. And I always tell everybody, you just need to know when something turns rancid, you can still eat it. It doesn't taste as good. Nutrition level goes down. and it makes your stomach upset. But you can still eat it, last-ditch effort. That's all you have. Go for it. But the powdered peanut butter will last much longer, but I can't find mine. Powdered drinks. Let's go through that last one. Because powdered drinks, basically, in my opinion, can be broken down into really two types. We have like a giant, I think I got this at Sam's Club or Costco. We always get them there. Country Time lemonade. Do you ever remember this stuff as a kid? As a kid, it was great, but we have it down there now. I can't remember the last time we even popped one of these open. We got a bunch of them. We have like a lot of like Tang like ones, just honestly, it's not really so much for us as adults. And I'll show you why in a second. It's more for the kids on occasion. Or, in reality, it's for when crap hits the fan. We have some tasty lemonade we can drink and sit back and watch cities burn. I say that jokingly, obviously. But having some kind of drinks is good. I mean, I love water. I can't stress it enough. You have to have water, 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 water. This can literally rob you of your water. Because if you drink too much of this, it puts too much particulates, which pulls the water from you. It can actually dehydrate you in the long run. So I'm not saying don't give it to some people in your family, but just once in a while as something nice and tasty. In reality, if you're going to be drinking something like that, I would probably go with something like this. It's really funny how people perceive this as better than this. And I mean, I say that because they'll say, oh, look, Country Time lemonade, that's just lemonade with sugar in it. Well, guess what this is? This is like a fancy Country Time lemonade with sugar in it. The only difference is this also has electrolytes, which is good for you. But it's still sugary stuff. People think that drinking like a Coke or something is bad for you than as they drink a Gatorade. The amount of sugar content there, I don't know if it's exactly the same, but there's so much sugar in this stuff. It's awful. So we have Gatorades, a lot of these cans. But it's really not about having just a lot of Gatorades. It's about, there will be times, if we're talking about crap hits the fan, you're going to be working out a lot and sweating a lot. And if you ever get really sweaty and your shirt has like this big ring of water on it, then you throw the shirt in the dirty laundry, go to it the next day, the water's evaporated and you have all this white stuff on your shirt. Those are salts. You actually will sweat out your salts and electrolytes, and that's really bad. So Gatorade, I think it was like, if I recall, the Florida Gators, somebody in the Gators invented this stuff for their players. That's why it's called Gatorade. And I remember when, I don't know if it's when it came out, but I remember the first time I had one. I delivered papers as a kid, and I was like so tired, and I went to a local gas station, and they had this Gatorade stuff. I heard about it and drank one. I was like, I actually feel replenished. It was great stuff. So I'm not knocking Gatorade by any means. It has a lot of sugars in it. Maybe during the apocalypse you need sugars. But instead, I like to have this. And I've showed this on the channel before. Electrolyte powder. Now, this is mine. I've actually had a lot of different electrolytes in my time. Key Nutrients. They're not a sponsor or anything, but I'll tell you, I love these. I love these. They are pricey. But when you talk about even just having like a glass of Gatorade, it's going to be practically speaking close to the same price. Key Nutrients electrolytes. It has stevia in it, so no artificial sweeteners. I can't have any artificial sweeteners. Sucralose, all that stuff, really bad for my brain. I can't have it. I'll have a seizure. But Splenda, I can. Splenda? Stevia, I can. And I don't know if you have this stuff or can have it or not either, but all those artificial sweeteners are really bad. But stevia and monk fruit doesn't mess with me, so I can have these. I mean, in reality, you don't even have to pay the money to have something like this. You basically, if you have some salt and it's in the apocalypse and you're about to drink a big thing of water, just take a pinch or two of salt and put it in the water, shake it up and drink it. It'll replenish your electrolytes. But here's the thing. You can actually have some Country Time lemonade and relax during the apocalypse, sipping on your lemonade with all the sugars. Or you can relax during the apocalypse, having some Key Nutrients pink lemonade. This is pink lemonade right here, and they have all kinds of flavors. This, to me anyway, since I don't like drink sugars per se, tastes literally like a good old-fashioned, ice-cold, perfect during the summer glass of pink lemonade. It blows my mind how good this tastes, and it doesn't have any of the sugars and stuff in there. It's incredible. I love these things. So I'll link this below. I think it's getting kind of low on here. I will tell you, though, the biggest thing with these, see, somebody left this one open, and when that happens, the powder, you always breathe that powder, and it's awful. If you do that, then, of course, you'll start getting, like, clog up in there, and that's what's happening with this one. So I better drink it before it really gets really bad like that. Anyways, again, they don't sponsor us, but I love Key Nutrients, and they have all kinds of flavors. kind of pricey. But if you're talking about getting your electrolytes replenished, and it's something you can drink because you don't have a lot of sugar, it's worth its weight in gold. All right, powdered foods, powdered drinks are where it's at. Because when we talk about making dishes during the apocalypse, when we talk about, I mean, it's just crap, it's a fan, or just things are difficult, having the freeze-dried stuff or even the powders to do this stuff is worth its weight in gold. There's some of the stuff that I have. Maybe you have something different. Again, we're not talking about freeze-dried food, but what kind of freeze-dried powders do you use? What kind of dishes do you make with them? What kind of freeze-dried powdered drinks do you make? There's a question for you. Put it in the comments below. And everybody, we appreciate you. Thanks for coming along, and we'll see you tomorrow.